people. So now let's see how you can get the period. What is the period here? Just take a guess. Okay, and then I'll give you the answer. The period is actually where we have the signal repetition of a signal. So meaning when we have like a repetition of a signal, let me just show you an example of this drawing. You see at this point, the signal goes like this, all the way up, and then when it goes down in order to repeat itself, that's where we have our period. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we add something like this. I'll make a long one so then you can see how you can find the period. Okay, this is where we have our origin, and yeah, this is good. X and Y, and then you see maybe we have this type of interval. Okay, negative intervals in terms of negative x, and then this side we have a positive x. Okay, and then when you go up, positive y, and then down here negative y. So that's what you see here. Okay, so this is the origin. Okay, I will give you just one signal. It's gonna be let me just zoom in so then I can give you an example of what we're using. Let's say we got a signal like this. There we go. I know my drawing is not near perfect as you may want, but for now let's just stick to this. I'm just showing you what is a period. Okay, and if we say this is where we have maybe I was going to use pi, but let me just use -1, -2, -3, -4. And then what you should know is we find the period, and then in accordance with x. So we actually work with x. The period is defined in times. So let's say like it was t, but in our case it's x. So our period, it should be written with x dependency. So we got something like this. So let's see how we can find our period. If it's your first time, I'll give you an example. A period is where we have the start. This is where we have our start. You can say like you can just pick up for anywhere where we have a repetition. I don't know if I want a repetition. This is where we have the signal, and then the signal is gonna go up. When you want to repeat itself, because we have already highlighted the negative, the bottom of the signal. So at that point, the period can be defined. The ending point, because let me just say this is our starting point, and then this is our ending point. I could say period equal. Let's just go with this formula. Ending point negative. It's actually positive, whatever you see. So let me just instead of using a formula, we can just count. Let's just count what we have. So if I start here, let me use maybe this color. So this is where we have this is our starting point. So it's gonna be 0, and here it will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So our period will be equal to 4. Okay, this is our period that you see there. Okay, if you don't want this way, we can just try something else. Let's just select other point. Okay, I feel like let's just select other point. We can also even take this point here, and then this is where we're going to find our period. We're going to take this point where the signal starts, and then let's say the signal ends here. So if you have to find the period between this line, or maybe I should just move to this section so that I make it clear to you. So this is where we start, and then we go there before the signal repeats itself. At this point, this is where we're going to solve. Let me just continue. So we're going to have -7 here, and then -8 here. So for you to find the period here, you could just start. This is a starting point, and then this is the ending point. You could count. We're going to start at 0. Then you count 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see the period is always 4. This is how you find the period. It can be the reason why I'm using number, because you can see we have numerical number into this graph. But if it was written with pi, I was going to have maybe pi there somewhere there. Okay, as you see for this example, the period, since we start here and then we end there, you could see we have -pi and pi. Okay, so if I want to know what is here, so -pi is actually -1 pi. Then you're not gonna see it here. So, and here it's 1 times pi. Okay, so if I have to count, this is where we have 0. If I move to this section here, it's actually pi, and then if I move to this section, it's actually 2 pi. So the answer to this will be 2 pi. That's what you see here. This is what we call period.